Alright guys, so this is going to be about exponential growth. Like Einstein said, mastering exponential growth will be mastering your wealth. Who does not understand it, pays it. Exponential growth is one of those concepts that has been used by the rich to get even richer. You could be, there's literally two sides of a story. You could either be that man that always moans about the politicians that are elected and how they are so unfair, or you could be the ones that doesn't really give a crap. So, because whoever wins, you're going to be on top because you are the boss. Now, how to master your... First, you got to understand exponential growth. I show it on a graph if you go back onto my blog site, which is located on the description below. And as you can see on the graph, if you start off with $1,000, you do not add any extra money. You just start off with $1,000. You leave this into an unknown account. If you get 8% yield, which is round about, you usually get 6 to 8%. Usually most years I get more than 8%, but that's because London property is doing so great at the moment, and it won't always be doing great. But if I never touch that money, in the period of 120 years, that $1,000 turns into $4.75 million. That's you not adding in extra money. That's just you leaving that money there in that account, just sitting there. Now, obviously, you're not going to be wanting to wait for 110 or 120 years for this money to grow. You would want your money to be growing now. But this is the general principle. Is in college they teach you about exponential growth. I know some of you don't really pay attention into college, which is not a problem. But the general idea is you start off 8% of $1,000. 8% of $1,000 is $80. That's the basic idea. But 8% of $1 million is $80,000, and that's where you start getting really, really crazy numbers. I mean, there's a story of a chess player. There was a king and a chess player. A random person challenged the king, and what the king said was, if you beat me, you could ask me for anything. So they played a game of chess, and the person won. He beat the king, and then the king said, what do you want? The man said, okay, there's 64 squares on a chessboard. I would like 1 grain of sand on the first box, 2 grains of sand, and 2 grains of corn, on the second box, then 4, then 8, then 16. So basically what he was doing was 100% growth each box. Now, I think it was on the 34 box, the king owed him nearly trillions, like zillions of grains of corn. It was enough corn to fill up the whole of India 1 meter thick. That is the power of exponential growth with a percentage of 100% every year. So that just gives you the idea of you need to master your wealth and know how to invest it, know how to not spend it all at once. Now, I've came up with something called the fruit theory. If you read my blog, I based this on somebody called Carlos Slim. If you do not know him, he's a Mexican billionaire. Usually he battles it out with the likes of Bill Gates, Warren Buffett for the top spot. You might see him sometimes on the top spot. And what he said for charity is you should give away the fruit but never the tree. And you could take this in different ways. The way he was talking about it was in charity. I mean, when you're giving away charity, you do not give away everything. You keep a bit so you could increase your money, and then you give it away again and again and again and again and again. It comes out to the basics of give a man a fish, he's full for a day. Give him a fishing rod, and he fills him up for the rest of his life. But what I like to do, I like to base this on exponential growth. So what I like to do is, with my investments, I get investments and I get yields at the end. I like to keep 10% set aside just for my spending habits. That's for me, just for me to grow. And once you get the big numbers, you start hitting the $5 million. When you're getting 8% of $5 million, that's 400 grand a year. you set aside 10%, which is 40 grand of 400 grand, and that's 40 grand you get to spend. I mean, you spend it on holidays and whatnot. 40 grand is more than enough to spend on holidays. But the magical thing is, that $5 million is now $5.36 million. And next year, you're going to be getting even more money. And then the year after that, even more money. So you'll be enjoying both worlds. You'll be enjoying the fast world, getting Lamborghinis, or going on holidays, going to Ibiza or whatnot, what you love to do, as well as watching your money grow. You get both worlds at the same time. I mean, the problem we have with this generation is we're so fixated of going one way or the other. Like, we have to either do travel around the world or don't travel at all. It's never can we have a balance of both worlds, and it's good to have a balance because you never know what's going to happen in life. This is we are approaching immortality. That is a given. Now pensions are not pretty much going to become non-existent in the distant future. Our pension systems are crumbling. Compare it to 30 years ago, there was a good pension system. Now is nearly, the age of the pension is getting pushed longer and longer and longer. We are soon not going to be able to live to see our pension. I mean, now we have more older people than ever before, thanks to health services. We have more older people, but this is putting a strain on the younger generation, because the younger generation now needs to support the older generation. There's less jobs available for the younger generation. We have to be more qualified. We have to hit those degrees. Not so many jobs available. It's going to crumble. It's not going to be there forever. So this is why you have to take your financial future into big consideration. You got to understand that in the future, if you're in that under 30s, in your under your 40s, the future is not looking that bright unless you master your wealth. If you master your wealth through exponential growth, you could be the ones on the good side. You could hopefully you'll be on the good side, and you'll help the people that are not with you on that good on that financial freedom. That will be your choice. You could be doing a lot of good in the world, but you have to take responsibility for your own wealth and not depend on future pension, because the future pension system is not there. It's not going to be there. I mean, with immortality, that means you'll be living to see that 120 years. So let's ignore the $1,000. Let's say you invested $100,000. That $5 million is now suddenly turned into $500 million. So, and if you keep on putting money aside each month, you put money aside. It doesn't all have to be at once. You don't have to go to the bank on one day. Here's 100 grand. It could be slowly, and this is how you save your wealth. I know the feeling of looking at your bank account and seeing money in your account and feeling like, wow, I've got to spend it. So what I like to do is set up a standing order, a direct debit, like a standing order to an investment. For example, an index fund, a property, whatever you like to invest. Choose what you like to invest, but every month when you get your paycheck, the day after, you put that money in that index fund. So what you could do is you could say, okay, I'm going to set aside 30%, 40% just for investment purposes, 10% just for spending, and the rest is going to go towards my bills. So that saves you for the trouble of spending all your money. It's a slow and gradual process. It does not need to be one day you go to a bank and you're like, here's my money, take it, invest it. There will be, and if that's not possible, bring your cost of living down. You do not need a flashy car. My first car will be just going from A to B. Literally, that's it. I don't need a Lamborghini as of yet. Maybe in the future, when I'm more financially secure, then I'll consider not spending a small portion of my wealth on a Lamborghini. I do not want to spend a large portion of my wealth as of yet on a Lamborghini. For me, it seems ludicrous. People say you're not going to live forever, but I'm still young, and I have to take care of my future, because that's the thing. For me, money is security. Money buys security. It buys you that you could go to sleep at night knowing your bills are paid, your money's growing, you're making more money every month. I mean, I like that feeling. For me, that's the feeling I like. So if you enjoy this blog, check out my blog. It's in the description. If you like this video, thumbs it up or share it with your friends, and try and take your financial security into your own hands, because do not trust the politicians, do not trust the pension system. Those are things that are going to be failing in the distant future. Politicians, pension systems, it's all going to be gone. The only one that could save your financial future is yourself. And check out my blog. I'm going to be talking more about actual investments, what your actual investments could be, index funds, stock funds, and whatnot. Take care. Have a nice day.